to the woman left and right. Bring your hands into prayer pose. Take a moment to breathe into the V space. We take a deep inhalation. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mitroma Amritangamaya Shanti Shanti Shanti. We inhale deeply, we suspend our breath for a moment. And we exhale and gently open our eyes, bring the arms out to the side, palms facing up. And we keep our arms this way. Fingertips are reaching out. And just roll your head back to the side and down. Inhaling up towards the heavens. Exhale down to earth. See that you keep your arms nicely out, parallel. Be responsible with your neck. You can move very slowly. One more time into this direction and then we switch. That same breath pattern. Inhale up and exhale when you bring your face down. And slowly the arms want to go down, so press against gravity. Last 2 repetitions. And then we come to center. So this is my inhale, exhale. I bring all fingertips to the tip of my thumb tip. Yeah? When I touch my shoulders, I open my palms, I stretch my fingers on the inhalation. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep your upper arms steady. Find your pace. This is a high voltage mudra when we bring our fingertips towards the tip of our thumb. And then touching our shoulders. Good. Bring the arms back out to the side. We do the same, but we alternate. So I inhale, exhale. Same thing with our fingers when they come to the shoulders. You apply the mudra. You inhale left, exhale right. And sure enough, we will switch the breathing. We inhale right, exhale left. It's great for our brain. Saying good morning to all the cells. Slowly we feel our shoulders, we feel the arm work. And we're just breathing through it for the next 15 seconds. I'm not listening too much to our little voice that wants to give up. No, we keep up. Just a little bit more. Nothing will happen. Good. Bring your arms up. Exhale. Shake them out. Hands onto your thighs or onto your knees, whichever way you're sitting. Spinal flex. Inhale. Exhale. Work your spine out. I highly recommend this movement every single day. You can do it sitting on the chair. You actually can even do it standing with your knees bent and you rest your hands on your thighs. Move that spine, keep the flexibility. Crucial, especially when we grow up. Strong breath. The beautiful thing in this movement is that we connect our first energy center with our heart center. So we are actually moving the quality of trust into the heart. Allowing ourselves to be seen. Last 15 seconds. Good, inhale and arch. Exhale, come sitting straight. So you can do the next posture to sitting on the chair or cross-legged or on the heels, whatever you prefer. The only thing we all do is having our arms hugging the ears, all in fingers interlaced, except for your index fingers. They do touch and they are extended. You cross the thumbs over each other. And then from here, keeping the connection from your ears to the inner arms, you exhale and you fold forward. Inhale up. And exhale, reach forward. It's not so much about going all the way down to the floor. It's just being parallel and then stretching your entire back, moving forward. If you sit on your heels, keep your buttocks connected to the heels. Deep inhalation coming up, exhalation folding forward. I like always to imagine I exhale out of my lower back so that I create the expansion from the inside out. The arms continuously hugging the ears. That will prevent any harm. Last 15 seconds. And then we inhale up, we come into our last asana. We bring the arms out to the side, fingertips touching the pads, thumbs are extended. Inhale, gently twist from the base of your spine to the left, exhale right. And don't let a day go by without twisting. Take your head with you, look to the side. Good, and then we come into center. We inhale, we have the tip of our thumbs touch overhead. Back of our hands touch. We exhale, we sweep through our auric field. Resting our hands either on the thighs or the knees, palms facing upward. Take 3 deep breaths here. Drop your shoulders. Good, and then you're ready for you.
Thank you, Siddhi. Mm. 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 Good morning, sweet ladies. So, a little overview update on next Sunday. I will be sending out an additional email, probably today, that will review these details, so you don't have to be too concerned about it right now. However, just so it goes into your consciousness. First, for those of you who are unable to join us, we will so be holding you in our circle. You're here, you're part of our group. We can't have a gathering without you, even without your presence. Your physical presence, your energetic presence is so with us. So I want you to know that you're not being left out. We will miss you deeply. And for those of you who are coming, the directions and parking and all of that is in the email. And the list of things for you to bring is also there. Specifically, we will be sitting on the floor. And so bringing cushion, yoga mat, and we'll be having a sound bath towards the end of our day. And you may want to have a blanket to cover up just to feel cozy and to really be able to sink into it. I do have lots of blankets here, but bring what makes you comfortable so that you build your own little space that you can be in for this time together. So that's that. And anything else about that? I don't think so. If you have a question, I've asked you to bring an item for our potluck. Specifically, I've asked several ladies to bring salad, a more substantial item for us. The rest can bring just something you enjoy having at a meal. It doesn't need to be a meal, just a snack of some sort to add to our potluck. Whatever appeals to you, vegetarian, please, and organic if possible. And if you have questions, please just email me and let me know. I will have my phone on. So if you need to text me or you're having difficulty with directions or something, just feel free to text or call. And yeah, I think that's all about that. Saturday, we are not gathering next Saturday morning. In that we'll be doing setup and whatnot, getting prepared during that timeline and traveling. City will be traveling here. So there will be some movement for us on that day. So today, I would like...
Maybe Nirmala, maybe I didn't hear that, but I think it's important that everyone who will be joining next Saturday reads the email that you will send out, right?
Yes.
There's an extra email, so that they please be so kind and check the email. I don't know if you mentioned that or not. Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. Yeah. Yes, because there will be more details than I've just shared. I think most of your questions will be answered, so just take a look for it. Today, we're going to talk about one of the things that we say over and over again in the spiritual journey and the practice of yoga in its expanded form, not just the physical asanas, is that we're yoking and bringing together body, mind, spirit, and connecting that fullness with the divine. That's the process and the journey of yoga. And in that, we tend to lump body, mind, spirit. We're this entity that is all of those aspects, which is indeed true. However, I think that we could agree that the body mind are really one entity that works together, that reflects, and information goes back and forth between the two, and the story of who we are comes through our physicality and through our mental constructs around that. And then the spirit soul sits over here somewhere, and they really are operating experientially in a different realm. The physical body mind duo is relational. The way that we have an experience of body mind is through our reference point of what's outside of us, or from a physical standpoint, what's happening to us in our body. But it's all against the framework of and the reference point of what's outside of us. So it's a comparison. And that comparison sets up the mental construct for, are we as healthy? Are we moving as quickly? Are we doing it the right way? We look at our experience in relationship to what we see externally. And the experience of self is not a relational experience. It's only about us. It's about what is happening to us outside the construct that we can use as comparison. It's a really difficult journey to get to because it's more ethereal. Self is not in reflection of other. Self is self alone. How do we penetrate to this entity of self when we're not using the construct of a reference point to be able to give location of what does it mean to be self? What is that nature of self? And I want to talk a little bit about that today, because until we step into both the fullness of body mind entity portion and then self as a separate entity, we can't really integrate them. We have to experience them separately so that we know what we're weaving together. And if we use body mind, which is the most accessible experience we have in this incarnation, in this embodiment, as our witness to self, we're losing or missing the experience of self. And all of the divine download that comes to us in terms of our intuition and our wisdom and our knowingness comes through the self. The memory that's held in our body, which is held from trauma and from joy and from all the experiences that we have, is a memory. And memory is trapped in time. Memory is not eternal. It's trapped in a certain time that it happened, and then we recall it and we reframe it. If we stay in a time construct, we are not able to be in the eternal construct of the soul, which is ultimately how we will experience self, is in our eternal nature. So we have to train ourselves to be in both. It's the integration of being in body, mind, spirit. It's not body, spirit as one side and body, mind as another. It's all three being integrated together. But we're asking for timelessness and time-bound experiences to come together, which is a paradox. It's a paradox. It requires a certain surrender and relinquishment of the paradigms that we use to give context to our lives. We have to break down those paradigms and those stories that keep us trapped in the way we separate things. And it's natural. This is how our mind sorts. Our mind hears information, takes in information, and catalogs it. And it wants it in a certain place as a memory, but memory is time-bound, and our soul is boundless. So we're talking about two different relative experiences. The qualities between what happens in our body mind is different than the qualities that are happening in our spirit journey. So there's a language about our spirit journey. Our spirit journey is journeying with a language that is not the same language that we use to explain our body-mind experience. So we have to learn a new language. And the language it isn't concrete. It isn't, when we talk about Sanskrit and the tone of Sanskrit being the information that you get, and the benefit and the communication is based on this frequency of sound, not the actual words. But we're used to using words to define that which we want to have as an explanation of what we're witnessing or we're experiencing. And the eternal wants the language to not be word bound, because that's limited. And so we have to practice in our experience of this fullness of being. We have to practice getting out of body-mind construct so that we can experience and understand and witness our soul eternal, boundless, unbounded state. And then we can integrate that. And what comes out of that is the seamless movement between, we're here in a body, we're having beautiful experiences that are body bound. That's not a negativity, it's a reality. But if we limit ourselves to that experience, then we are not allowing the fullness and the movement between our eternal nature and our physical bound nature. We're both. And so today I want to just talk a little bit about how we might do that, how we might spend our attention and intention in the arena of experiencing and having this boundlessness be part of our movement every day. Having an experience of self is, one of the things that I would like to share is a practice that Osho, Rajneesh, in one of his teachings had shared, and it's about looking at our journey as a double-ended arrow. There's a point on two ends of this arrow, and one end is penetrating the physical world that we are living in and moving through, and the other end is penetrating and piercing the eternal nature of our soul, and that every experience we have can be doing both. If we take it to that level, if we allow our experience to deepen into something more than just the physicality or the mental construct of it. It's a little bit ethereal. It's a little bit uncharted for us, but it's a language. If we use the language of intuition, the language of knowingness, just a sense of wisdom that's coming up and percolating through you. If we use the wisdom of maybe it's like the heart center, the unstruck chord, the unstruck sound. There's a sound and a note that comes that isn't part of our language, but is coming through our life. If we start to listen through that language of eternity, the quality and the language of eternity that is inspiring, that when you have an inspiration that comes through you, that you really don't know where it came from, and you go, oh, wow, that really pierces and touches my heart. That's our unbounded, our eternal nature. It's the love nature. When we talk about love untainted by rules and requirements and the language that we give to it, where it has to look a certain way, that love that we experience as this openness, unboundedness, is another piece of the language of our eternal nature. It's a miracle. It's the miracle of how we are in the world, is this unspoken piece of us that is self. That's our miracle. How our body and our mental constructs play out within that, very individual and very responsive to what has happened as our history. Whatever experiences we've had, we gather all of those, and that's what we hold in this physical body. But our unbounded eternal nature is not holding that as a construct. It has a different truth to who we are. And if I ask you, who are you? Write down the qualities of who you are. Most of us will write down relationships, what we do into the world. We might write down that we are patience or love or one of these things, but generally we define ourselves in the relationships and in what we offer into the world, that we don't even have a language to explain what our spirit, soul, essence is. We don't even know how to write that down, how we even give words to that. So this miracle of expression that is self is this ethereal, very unscripted experience that we're having, but it's our destination on this road that we have, this spiritual journey. The destination is this unbounded, uncontainable sense of abandon that is our self, our eternal nature. That's our destination. People say, oh, it's the journey, it's not the destination. In this case, this is a destination, because once we step into that, we have to have it to call upon in every experience we have. We don't separate it from. So it's the space where bliss and ananda, where bliss shows up for us most frequently. So most of us have an experience of bliss or of this eternal nature that comes and goes in moments that might be related to something really beautiful happening in your life, or something that's community oriented, where you see and feel that you're part of the whole, and you have a momentary experience of this bliss that happens, but we can't script it, we can't control it, and the length of it comes and it goes, and we just tap into it for a very brief amount of time, and we try to string those together as part of our human experience. But the truth is, the place of our eternal nature, which holds this bliss and holds this joyfulness, can be stepped into anytime. Once we learn the path, and once we learn how to bring the alignment, to bring our mental story and our physical experience into alignment with our eternal nature, then that experience is very seamless. We move in and out of it. We don't have to have an external stimulus in order for us to experience joy. It's not predicated on certain criteria in our life in order for us to step into it. It becomes the nature that we can pierce anytime we want. It already is there. It's just that our access to it is shrouded. It's shrouded in story, it's shrouded in past trauma, it's shrouded in all sorts of ways that we believe we are in the world, that we don't believe that we have an eternal nature that we can walk in and out of anytime we want. But we can. But we have to practice certain ways of diminishing the power and the strength of our body-mind experience, which Siddhi's going to work with us today in the remainder of our time together as a really beautiful practice to start decreasing the value and the presence of body-mind, and increasing the presence of this stillness, this spaciousness, which is the eternal nature. This is why we talk about having stillness, and meditative nature allows you to have that openness, because in that emptiness, the eternal nature starts being within our grasp. It isn't in our grasp in the busyness of our mind, but our mind has great reasons to be participating in our journey. Our mind is useful. Our body is necessary. These are not like making an hierarchy of what's more important and what's less important. It's about holding each of these qualities in their appropriate relationship, and that they need to be working together and woven together in a beautiful braid, rather than separating them out or allowing and having one experience be the primary one in our life. We want to be able to walk in and out seamlessly of our eternal nature, and to know it so intimately that it doesn't have to be something we are grasping for or trying to dig into, that it's just the ease within us that we recognize and know that piece of ourselves. It's the uncontainable, unbounded, unexpressible self that holds the fullness of joy and bliss. And we should be in and out of that all the time, ladies. There should not be a moment when we're waiting for someone or something to give us permission to enter into that. That should be a door that we've practiced opening and closing so that we can be seamlessly walking in and out of it. It's a place of the permanency of joy and bliss. That's where they reside, is in spaciousness and stillness and the eternal nature that we are naturally. We don't have to become. There's no becoming here. There's no, I'm going to work towards and something's going to be, I'm going to become something that is more unbounded. You are already that. It's just opening the door to recognizing it, to experiencing it, because story and mind and body give us a construct that keeps us from having that experience. So today I'm going to let Siddhi take over because she's going to give us a beautiful practice that is part of Osho and Rajneesh's practices, where he very ardently and adeptly talks about and gives an experience of having the fullness of this eternal nature experience, how to diminish the mind-body craziness. So Siddhi, take it away, please.
Yeah, the craziness. You know, when I met Bhagwan, Osho, he always said we have to go into the insanity to come to our sanity. You know, so in the morning, and I just want to clarify that. So we had, before we became a sannyasi and a follower, we had to do for a long period of time, and it depended on where your consciousness was. You were actually interviewed. You had to do 2 meditations, one in the morning, one in the evening, or in the late afternoon. In the morning, it's a very intense one, and I will not do it over Zoom because I think that's inappropriate. I think there always has to be a meditation teacher in the room to do that. But the afternoon or the sunset meditation, it's called the Kundalini meditation. And it has nothing to do with the Kundalini yoga tradition I come from. It's very different. So this meditation has 4 phases. We will do 3 of them this morning, time-wise. And the last one would be just relaxing. So you could do this, you know, right after our closing. You could just lay down for a moment. And I want you to know that each phase has 15 minutes. So we will not do that. We will do like 3 minutes for each phase right now. So the first one is to just shake, but not making the shaking, become the shaking. Allow the body to slowly start to shake. And then the second phase is that you start to dance and let the dance come out of you. You know, so which is very distinct. And normally when we dance, we want to look good. And, you know, no, this is a dance where you might not look good. It's not important how you look. It's allowing the body to dance. Everything that's a shaking and the dancing has to do with melting sometimes our rock-like energy when it got restricted, you know, and can't flow freely. So everything here is about melting into the body and through the body. And then the third stage is wherever you are, wherever your arms are, wherever in which posture you're in, you just stand still. So if I would be here with my arms, I wouldn't bring them down for the third phase. I would keep it up. 15 minutes in the real meditation. And just become the observer. And I remember when I started out with this meditation, how often just tears were running down my cheeks and just observing my tears, my sensitivity, you know, and like I said, that's like 40 years ago. But it is a really powerful meditation. So it's suggested to do around sunset or late afternoon because you want to shake off the day. You want to come back to yourself. So I want some of you can do it standing. For those who want to sit, you can do it sitting. It's a little harder doing sitting, especially the shaking, but I leave this up to you. So we have 9 minutes ahead of us. So we will get a little bit over time today. I apologize for that, but I think it's worth it. Okay, let's come up standing if you can. And I want you to close your eyes, have soft knees, and you just start to bounce your knees a little bit. That's the only thing you do, and you allow the shaking. Allow yourself to go into the dance. Stand still, be the witness. Take a deep inhalation through the nose. Exhale, open mouth. Two more times. And we bring our palms together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Nirmala and I invite you to come lying down just for a moment on your back. Relax as long as it's comfortable for you. And we will see you either in 2 weeks or in person next week.